welcome to BitBoy Crypto. Today's going to be a great episode. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about Binance. We're talking about the block. We're talking about FTX. We just got done listening to SBF for a few minutes. I'm going to give my thoughts on that. Going to be a fantastic episode. BitBoy is shooting another interview, but should be back tomorrow, and I'll be here for the 5 p.m. First off, TJ, how was your weekend?
Nice weekend. A little drowsy here today. Wild, with the block stuff happening Friday afternoon. Price didn't do anything. So, pretty basic
one of those
weekend.
signs of the bear market maybe coming to an end. That bad news isn't really pushing it that much further down. I went to the Hawks game. Thank you, Hit Network and TJ and all involved. Sat right next to 2 Chainz. Fantastic game. Went into overtime. Buzzard beater. 0.5 seconds left on the clock. Down by 1. Inbound. Boom. Very, very quick touch and go. Drained the 2-pointer, and great game. So, and then I know Allie had her little story with 2 Chainz. I went with Kat, and she was upset that she didn't ask for a picture. So, 2 Chainz, if this word ever gets back to you, if you see me in the future, I will be asking for a picture.
He is really nice. I've seen him take pictures with multiple people down there. So
yeah, he seems super cool.
He's cool.
His son was like the star of the arena. Like the Hawk, he came in, was like talking to his son. His son did the little fist bump with the. And I was like, this is the coolest kid in the world. He's like 7 years old. He's already more cool than I'll ever be.
Yeah. Well, he's so cool, he doesn't even know how cool he is.
Yeah, he's not trying. Me, I try hard with my Mutant Ape merch. Hey, look at me. I have NFTs, and it's all matching. Thank you, Yuga Labs. All right, moving on here. Let's talk around. Around the blockchain is moving to a new channel, everybody.
You gotta, start the VMix capture up there.
Oh, let's see here. It is, I'm looking for it. It's usually one of the front ones or the back ones. All right. Am I mute? All right, we're good now? Okay. All right, we're back. All right, hey, can I have your hat? I did sell this hat for $400. Me and Taco sold these hats for $450.
Good flip.
At NFT NYC. Then I rebought it for $50 on eBay. That's a win. All right, make sure you follow Around the Blockchain to their new channel. They're moving. Our episodes are going to premiere on this channel January 2nd. So we're just a few weeks away. So make sure you're sub. We only have 3,800. It's probably more people watching right now or right at it. So make sure you're following that channel. Go over to the Twitter, the Bird app. Apparently, the Bird app is good again. I am almost at 39,000. Maybe we can get a nice little bump, get past there. That would be fantastic. We go to Instagram. Make sure you're following BitBoy_crypto for the official Ben Armstrong account here. You can see me in my little ho hodl gear right there, and always putting out really good clips. He always has the funny stories too, so you're gonna want to make sure you follow him. Go to Hit Merch. TJ, how much time do they have to get this sweet Christmas sweater?
Do it now. Do it quick. Time.
Better hurry. I think we're at the point where right at oh wow, you have like 48 hours. So you better hurry. If you're watching, it's okay. If you're watching 12 hours later, go order now. You don't have much time. I think it's at the 14th, like 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. at midnight. So hurry, and you can get that in time for Christmas Eve. Your loved one who loves crypto. You don't want to give them a wallet. You don't even know how to give them crypto, but you know how to give them a sweater. So make sure you get one of those. Catching up to crypto. Can't wait for the book tour. I know Taco's ready. You're going to want to make sure you check out that book. But now it is time for check out Coin Market Cap, everybody. The current market cap is at $842 billion. Bitcoin dominance 38.8. ETH dominance 18.2. Gas above 20 for the first time in a while. 21 Gwei for the ETH gas transactions here. Looks like Bitcoin, TJ brought up a point with the BlockFi, but the news really hasn't affected anything. This is very, very flat. I saw someone screenshot yesterday's prices just to say, look how boring everything is. And basically, out of the top 10, everything was under 0.2% change or so. A lot of things were 0.0% change. So we're just flat. Volume is low. If we go up and look at volume, 24-hour volume, it's already down to 35.
It was in the 20s over the weekend.
Wow, 20s.
I can't even remember the last time I saw it that low.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the Binance thing. I think their last month's transaction volume was like 1.5 trillion. Yeah. And so, yeah, 20 billion for the 24-hour of all crypto exchanges. That is very low. Bitcoin currently above 17,000. Still, though, down a little under 1%, 0.84%. Ethereum falling a little bit harder at 1.59% at 1250. Still holding that nice little support level there. BNB 276. Down a little bit harder than its peers, probably on the rumors that we're going to be talking about later. XRP down 2.5, but has a nice little bounce on the hourly here. 37 cents, round up to 38 cents there. Doge, 8 cents, still below a dime. Doge took a pretty nasty tumble, down 8% on the daily, down 14%, while Bitcoin's only moved about 1%. Cardano down 2.5. Polygon now currently 88 cents, down 3% on the week. Polkadot all the way down to $5, maybe even going to go below $5. If I see Polkadot below $5, I might have to DCA in a little bit. Litecoin down 8%. Let's look at the top gainers and losers of the last 24 hours. Not a whole bunch is on the upswing, but we do have Toncoin gaining a ton, up 5.28%. BSV, Bitcoin. What do you think of BSV? Are those days over? I know we talked about it, but it was like a year ago. Are the days over of BSV kind of, front running Bitcoin's moves, or maybe the reverse?
I don't. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi's vision. That's Craig Wright and fam there, and what's it, Calvin Ayre. Basically back from the hash wars. I don't know if that's going to go away anytime soon. I think it's going to be around. We think there could be, depending on what happens with some of this regulation on how they classify things, securities versus commodities, that actually could potentially work in favor of Bitcoin SV. But yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's going.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting point. Yeah. I didn't even think so once this commodity security hammer is down and you look, there's just flat nails everywhere, you're going to be looking for those commodities. So that's a good point.
Basically, everything that makes Bitcoin a commodity would most likely apply true to the same for Bitcoin SV.
Yeah. I mean, original code. I mean, they started at the same time technically. I mean, if you want to go up the chain of code there. All right, we have BSV and then Dash up 4.3%, ApeCoin up a little bit. Which is surprising because now they have the daily emissions, but the rewards have been reduced as more and more people get into that ecosystem. Let's look at the top losers though. This is probably going to be a little more bloody. Chili's token down 9%. I am sorry, Iran. Trust Wallet token down 10%, but it has had quite a few days of gains. You can see it is actually still in the positive compared to all these other peers down over 15%. Flow down 8.76%. Aptos down. Looks like maybe that quote-unquote VC chain is not getting the love that it used to. Doge, also one of the worst losers. EOS, Axie Infinity, Near, Helium, Synthetic, kind of rounding up the rest of them there. So not the best day in the crypto markets, but there's still time to make some trades, and we have someone in the channel to help you navigate that. And even if you don't have his calves, you can still run around in this market. He's going to teach you how.
Oh, wow. That was crafty.
Big calf lift to pop up on camera there, guys. What is going on? I hope you guys are having a good day as we do have some action on the charts. We got some good stuff to look at, guys. I would be very careful. Obviously, we do have a big week this week. We do have a lot of news coming out, which I do expect to cause a lot of volatility. So you want to have your trading plans. Be very careful out there. As you guys know, I don't typically trade the news. I do like to let the dust settle a little bit and then find my trades. But we'll see what happens this week. But big news, guys. The weekly bull div did confirm. Now, is this going to give us a move? Just weekly bullish divergence, very, very, very rare bullish sign. Hopefully, it can give us a move to the upside, but we're going to have to see if we can catch some longs, if it is going to give us that move. And don't forget that our chart section of the show is sponsored by BitGet, so don't forget about that. Check the link in the description down below, and they do have 0 fees. So that is obviously very good, especially if you trade as much as I do. Those 0 fees add up. Can you add up? Can 0 fees add up to be beneficial?
I don't think they can.
Exactly. They don't add up, which is a good thing.
I do have a quick question, though.
Yeah.
I'm normie. I'm dumb. I do know what a bullish div is, and it's on the weekly.
Yeah.
This seems like a very major event. Can we see that has happened before? And when was that? And what happened then?
Yeah. So I'd actually have to go back and look to see if there was another weekly bull dip.
You had one like, yeah, it happened in 17. Or...
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe it happened in, I don't think it happened last cycle. But the one thing that is important to realize is the higher the time frame, typically the stronger the signal. Obviously, on the weekly, it may take time for that to play out, but typically it will give you, any signal you get bearish or bullish on a higher time frame is going to give you a bigger move than if it were to happen on something like the 5 minute. So if this does play out in a bullish manner, guys, this could be big, right? And I'm not saying that it is 100% going to be the bottom for Bitcoin. This is one of the scenarios that I did look at. I've made pre-recorded videos on my channel, kind of looking at what the case for the bottom could be. And, we were looking and I said, hey, if the momentum waves come down a little bit more and we create a bullish divergence, that would be a decent way to mark the bottom for the bear market. But obviously, we're going to have to see what happens. And because we are in a bear market, you have to understand that those bullish signals sometimes won't play out as well as they do in bull markets. But I do think that, regardless of what happens up until the Fed meeting, I do think this news we get this week is going to be the thing. I think it's likely we'll get some kind of a breakout, whether it's to the upside or to the downside this week. But we'll have to wait and see what happens for this meeting, because obviously everything basically relies on that. But let's go ahead and jump in here, guys.
Can I add one more thing? I
Sure.
do want to say with this weekly, and I've kind of looked at these weekly charts. Sometimes it takes a candle or two to really start to move, which isn't an issue with the 4-hour chart. But with the weekly candle, 2 of them, and it might be, kind of into the third, it's 16 days have passed, 18 days have passed. And you're like, this isn't playing out. What's going on? Doesn't mean that it won't. It's just it sometimes take a couple candles for these moves to start happening. But on the weekly, 16 days might feel like an eternity if you're really waiting on some crypto moves.
Yeah, it really feels like a nail biter at that point. And a good thing to compare this to is when we saw the weekly blood diamond. I'll actually just real quick before we jump into everything here. If you look at the weekly time frame here, this weekly blood diamond popped up, and this had never happened before ever on this time frame. Crypto Crow in the chat, let's go. Crash to 16K coming. Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I would actually be pretty happy with that. But with this weekly blood diamond, just speaking of what DZ was talking about, how it does take time, we were bringing up this blood diamond, and I was saying like, hey guys, listen. And this was when everybody still thought the super cycle was in play and we were going to go back up to all-time highs. And we pointed this out, and I was like, hey, like this would be a good, confirmation to really dump us down into the bear market. Everybody called me crazy. Because, the weekly blood diamond popped up, and then we would get like a little pump here and there on the lower time frames, and people would be like, what happened? What happened to the weekly blood diamond? Now we're pumping. What's wrong with this guy? And I said, it takes time to play out. And if everything is, hindsight's always 20/20. So when you look back at the chart, you see like, oh, wow, weekly blood diamond, it just popped up and we dumped.
And then we begged for your forgiveness 18 days later.
Yeah, well, and it is, it is kind of confusing, right? Because that weekly blood diamond pops up, but within that candle, you get these little pumps on the, on the lower time frames, and a lot of times Bitcoin will rip $100, and everybody's like, bull market's back on. And trust me, I feel those emotions as well. Is you just got to try to push them out of your trading decisions. But with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and jump in here. So here is that weekly bull div in all of its glory, with our lower lows and our higher lows, with our confirmed green dot, VWAP back above the 0 line. Now, I would like to see this money flow curve back to the upside, but it is still just coming straight out. So that is, but however, weekly bull div, definitely more of a bullish signal than a bearish signal. And then obviously this is on the lower daily time frames as well. We have it on the 6-day, the 5-day, the 4-day. And then when we start getting down to the 3-day and the 2-day, this is where, you could see these, the VWAPs are starting to curve back down. They may be looking to cool off. Money flow crossing back over into the red on the 2-day. But again, weekly bull div, we could see that 2-day come over, roll over, print that red dot, give us a move to the downside, and that doesn't necessarily immediately invalidate that weekly bull div. So, as we get down to the lower time frames here, obviously we are cooling off. Red dot printing on the daily time frame, and not only that, we actually have some money flow crossovers on some hourly time frames that aren't really the best look. 3-hour money flow is back in the red. Our 4-hour money flow is continuing to the downside. So let's go ahead and let me go ahead and pull up. There we go. Okay, so right now, I would say, so on the daily, if this confirms, I do think we could potentially come down a little lower. And like I said, with all the news coming out this week, I think that's really going to determine whether we get a big move in either direction. I think we're going to have to wait for this news. However, moving down your 12-hour red dot confirmed, nothing really to pull out here. Money flow coming back to the downside. And then, yeah, the next thing I'm looking at for a move to the upside, guys, let me hide this VPVR real quick and get a better view here. There you go. So the next thing I am looking at for a move to the upside is going to be that, as it is, typically, there we go. We are actually getting, I think that might have just popped up right now. Green dot now printing on the 4 hour. So this combined with our lower time frames, not the 10-minute, but your 12-minute money flow was coming up, now coming back down, but you are about to print a green dot. Your 15-minute money flow has crossed over back into the green, also looking to print a green dot here soon as well. Obviously with the red dot on the daily, I would be careful with the longs. I would make them scalp longs. Put in the premium Discord, was letting everybody know what levels to watch and what exact confirmations to look for some scalp longs, and would have got you in right at the bottom here for a nice little scalp long. However, would lean a little bit bearish in the short term with that daily red dot printing. If it confirms, I do think we can continue down, but obviously bounces are likely along the way. So that 4-hour green dot, going to see where this brings us. Some levels to the upside I am watching are going to be this local golden pocket coming in at about $17,141. So if we can get a pump into this level, this would be a decent spot to look for a rejection. Come up to our other chart here. Oh no, these lines all got deleted. But yeah, that's we're gonna have to get a actual trading view account for the live stream. So everybody's on the same account, and it gets
too many people logging into the same trading view.
Yeah, it gets a little messy. But that's to the upside, guys. Again, with this 4-hour green dot, I'm going to see where this 4-hour green dot and the money flow coming up on those lower time frames is going to bring us. 24-minute generally coming up. I know we did fall back into the red here, but we could, just make a higher low with the red money flow wave and continue to the upside. But the big news here, guys, is again, I do think we could continue to cool off a little bit leading up to Wednesday. With that red dot confirmed on the daily, that is basically what I'm watching. And if we do get a move up in the short term, that local golden pocket is going to be the spot to look for a rejection. And then just pulling up the SPY really quick, which has also deleted. Actually, let me see. I think I can actually pull up a different. Here we go. But yeah, guys, weekly bull div. I'm very, very interested to see where this brings us. Oh no,
that's okay.
Okay, we're still live. Battery backup, guys. Battery backup. But taking a look at the SPY here, we got BJ on the job trying to fix it. But here we are, right? Taking a look at the daily time frame. VWAP starting to work its way back up towards that zero line. Money flow back in the green for the SPY. Looking at our 4-hour now, looking at the lower time frames here. Red dot is confirmed. I mean, nothing really to pull away from here, guys. Major level of support remains this purple box between about 390 and about 386. So likely to get some support down here if we do revisit this level. And then checking on the weekly VWAP on the way to the downside. Now, just to give you guys an idea of what a weekly bullish divergence can do for you, we actually had this and brought it up on the live stream on the SPY, right? We had our higher lows as well as our lower lows on our price action, giving us that bullish divergence. And boom, right? We were talking about this before we had any blue candles, and we're like, hey, weekly bull div, typically very, very strong, and very unlikely that you get no move, right? So even if we don't get a massive move from this weekly bull div on Bitcoin, it's very unlikely that we'll get nothing, in my opinion. But you can see here on the SPY, we did actually get a pretty big bounce off of that weekly bullish divergence, bringing us up about 17%, which, for the SPY is a pretty big move. And then obviously we are starting to come down a little bit here. So, I would expect with the printing of that red dot on the weekly of the SPY, we could continue to cool off. And like I brought up last week when we were talking to Garrett Soloway on my show, that's not always necessarily going to be a bad case for Bitcoin. So we'll have to see what happens. Maybe we start seeing Bitcoin kind of decouple from the stock market. But again, just general sentiment here, guys, maybe a little bit more in the medium term. We do continue to cool off until Wednesday. And then that meeting on Wednesday, in my opinion, is going to either give us a big breakout to the upside or the downside. The weekly bull div would have you leaning, a little bit bullish here. But just remember, you always want to be careful with this news. We can't predict, what is going to happen. So it can be very unpredictable. And now you guys have the levels for if we get a little pump up from the up to the upside, you guys have the levels that you could get rejected at. And now you guys have just a general idea of what we're expecting here. But I wouldn't expect anything super, super crazy to happen until these meetings. I think that's basically going to be the catalyst for this next big move. So with that being said, I think that's all I got. I see the comments about my haircut. Thank you guys for the fresh haircut comments. And don't forget to smash the like buttons multiple like buttons, to make Bitcoin move. And hopefully we move it to the upside. That's all I got. Back to DZ. Bing bong. Check out that Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Oof, baby. That merch.
2 comments. I love the Mutant Ape merch, but not the stickers. There, I took the stickers off. Are you happy? And the best comment was Frankie's hair capitulated. That was good. I only say that because obviously mine is capitulated harder than anyone's. But I'm up there like Brad Varnell. All right, let's move on here. Let's talk a little Bitcoin. And then we can get into the Binance news and what is going on with all that. Then some block action. Bitcoin drops below 17,000 pre-CPI and FOMC scenarios to prepare for this week. A week could not be more important for Bitcoin in the broader market. On Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern Time, there will be the release of the CPI numbers. Just a day later, FOMC will hold its last meeting of the year. Did Bitcoin overreact to the PPI, which was the recent producer price index? To assess how likely both scenarios are, it's also worth looking back at the recent PPI. The PPI was higher than expected. So a lot of big meetings and numbers going to be coming out this week just to keep an eye out, and including that last meeting of the year. All right. Maybe we can get them to lose the hats. I don't know. Maybe one day. If I make a transition, it's going to be full-blown like suit. Okay, yeah. So I've thought about it. I've thought about it long and hard.
Okay.
I can't be the guy in the hoodie and the hat. Like, it works for Pomp.
Okay.
I don't know how he got it to work, but like he managed to kind of like it's just part of his brand. He just did it long enough. Maybe my problem is I kept switching colors.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have just stuck with black. So now I feel like I'm painted in this corner where I need a big change.
Right. Like sweatsuit or 3-piece suit. There's really no in between.
There is no in between. It might just be, I might have to make that transition. I don't know. It's going to be like right before the bull market starts.
Yeah.
That's when I would do it. That'd be the good time to do it.
I think you're good. I think you're good right now. You want to be comfortable, right? I mean,
I do want to be comfortable, but I also want to talk to Charles Payne.
Okay.
So
what about, obviously I'm biased to the simple black t-shirt look, but I mean, you look at a lot of the Lex Freemans and a lot of the, like just simple black shirt, not too, you can throw a jacket over it if you want to. You take the jacket off, you're comfortable.
I think that works if you have something going for you that kind of distracts. So they're just going to look at my 5 head if I do that. So I need to be jacked and tan if I do the black V. So I'm not there yet. I did break my arm. You could kind of see the scar there. It's not, I've been hitting the gym lately, so I feel weak and emasculated.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of Pomp, maybe you can listen to his latest Liver King podcast and get the jacked and tan.
Thoughts on that? Would we have accepted Liver King to come on?
I don't think it would have really made any sense on this channel.
It wouldn't have made much sense.
No.
Hey, he could always come on NFT Alpha.
Yeah.
All right. We'll help you. I'll consult with you on how to not do a drop. I don't do the Solana though. All right. Veteran trader Tone Vase predicts end of year Bitcoin rally, but wait, there is a catch. Tone Vase always coming out with some nice predictions here. In the new strategy session, he tells his 123,000 subscribers that Bitcoin is trading within the narrow horizontal channel after rallying from that current bear market low of 15,700. While he is expecting bullish continuation in the short term, he says the rally will likely push it to a major resistance level, which could trigger the next sell-off event. All right. He previously said there's a decent chance of one more capitulation to the sub $15,000 level. So maybe a nice little pump at the end of the year, but then he's saying, hey, look out for that next level, which is at 15K.
And it is notable, he does lean bearish, generally speaking. Tone Vase does. He does tend to lean towards like that $3,000 Bitcoin in the past and all that. So.
Yeah, I probably would do. I don't know if I do a Lex Friedman suit. He looks like a spook from the 50s. I don't know if I want to do that. And someone else super chat. This is where the party's at. Hey, it is, and we appreciate that. All right, Bitcoin miners, Bitcoin halving rates, and what hodlers can expect in 2024. The next halving, which is expected to occur in 24, we roughly estimate around April, could impact Bitcoin holders positively. According to a new report by Masari, a new Bitcoin halving could induce a Bitcoin rally. Was this 2012? What is this? Glass half full. The halving is an event where it cuts the rewards in half. Right now, 6 1/4 drop every 10 minutes. Soon it's going to be 3 1/8 is going to be dropping, hitting the market every 10 minutes. Currently, it would negatively impact the already suffering mining industry. This is the important note right here. You receive this electricity bill every single month when you're mining your Bitcoin. Well, your electricity bill isn't going to change one month to month, but that next month you have half as many Bitcoin. And so that's what they're saying is going to negatively affect these miners. And so that's what happens when the price, do you want to sell it at a loss, or do you want to hodl it and hopefully sell at a much appreciated value a year or two in the distance? That's what happens a lot of times to the supply. It will lead to a supply crunch. And then that's why they say Bitcoin should, follow this 4-year cycle when it comes to the bull and bear markets. I'm still a believer in the bull and bear markets. I know a lot of people are saying the impact is lessening, and it is lessening for sure, but it's not really affecting it. 3 1/8 to 1.75. That's not that much material difference. 1.75 to 0.98 something. That's not too much material difference. But 25 to 12 was a huge chunk. 12 to 6 was a huge chunk. So it'll just be interesting to see how it works, especially 30 years from now, 40 years from now. Any thoughts on long-term health of Bitcoin? I mean, can it survive, if miners aren't making buku money in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's designed for miners. They don't have to make bukus of money. They just have to make more than their cost, right? It just has to be profitable. And I think that's the beauty of Bitcoin, with the difficulty adjustments, with the fee structure, with the halving. Eventually, the design is for the fees within each block, the fee structure for transactions, to still enable miners to be profitable even when they're getting such a low block reward. So it's just we're gonna have to see. I mean, obviously adoption has to continue to happen. The price has to continue to go up.
Yeah.
And and along with the hash rate, and as long as hash difficulty, fees and price all stays in alignment, then it should continue to incentivize people to mine. So
yeah, I mean, it's like game theory
Yes.
optimization there. As price goes down, less people turn on their rig, more people turn it on. Car for coin looks like they did the math. Don't worry. Bitcoin at the next halving, it won't be profitable until $35,000. That's when they start to get into the green there.
And that's generally what pushes the price up.
Yes.
when that happens, they have to sell it at higher prices. And so if it's $35,000 to break even, you're going to find that set a very strong floor, which we already know 30K or 28 to 30K is strong resistance, which could flip to a very strong floor.
And if you have relatives and you're trying to explain it to them and they're not really following, just replace Bitcoin with gold or silver. You have a company and it costs them $800 to mine an ounce of gold, but the market's only selling it for 700. They know there's fluctuations. They might wait for gold to hit 900 before they sell. And maybe other miners of gold, they might start hodling.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, supply starts running up, and then that's when you see a price increase.
And
All
just real quick, Bitcoin halving date estimated for April 5th, 2024.
April 5th. All right. We'll keep that day will probably fluctuate, or it will fluctuate. So we'll see. And to TJ's point about adoption increasing, one thing that will lead to that is the Lightning Network. Lightning Network to be used in fiat transfers between the European Union and Africa. This is Coin Corner and BitNob, quite the name there, teamed up for these cross-border transactions. And this is moving across continents involving multiple fiat currencies. And they're using the Lightning Network. The funds are automatically converted into Bitcoin, then instantly converted to the local currency and deposited straight into the bank account or mobile money wallet of the receiver. Seems like a pretty good company here. Let's see. I hope they succeed. Data from Statista placed Nigeria in the top 10 countries for remittance payments. Additionally, the World Bank reported that in the last year, Sub-Saharan Africa made up 14.1% of global remittances. That is a decent amount, because I'm pretty sure they don't have 14% of the population. And we're starting to see more of this Crinks narrative of China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and then Africa, Nigeria. They're going to start getting bigger and bigger, and they're starting to work on things involving currencies that don't involve the dollar. That's not going to be great. But if you price Bitcoin in US dollars, it is kind of good, but it's a painful good. It's not the type of good that you want. All right, USDC, a sudden ETH whale interest and what it means for the stablecoin. Circle's USDC made it to the list of the most purchased tokens by the top 5,000 ETH whales, according to Whale Stats. But what are the potential implications of this, and why is it important at this point in time? Made it to the list. Hopefully, they're not the top one. The top one purchased tokens. Oh, it is the top one. That is not great. Look at number 2, USDT. Number 3, a form of USDC, and then wrap Bitcoin. These ETH whales are saying there might be some more pain, it looks like, because they are stabling up. Many traders have thus shifted to a preference for stablecoins to avoid potential losses. Whales have been accumulating USDC, judging by the increase in the supply held by the top addresses as a percentage of supply. Now, part of this is, prices down 90%. If you look at that portfolio, November of last year, yeah, this might be dwarfing that amount, but when your token has fallen 90%, yeah, that amount of that volume is going to be pretty low, or 10% of what it was a year ago, even if volume is the same with the tokens.
I think part of it too is we covered this on Friday, a pretty big institutional push to get people to convert from Tether to USDC. Even Coinbase was trying to get everybody to move towards USDC. I think this is the beginning of this, not the end. And it's something I'm going to be watching pretty closely over this next year to see, because we're seeing it all across the board, basically a big push to get people into USDC, which I think is setting up, obviously the United States CBDC.
So it says Nigeria has almost the same population of the U.S. U.S. makes up 5% of the globe as far as population. So I don't know. Someone maybe look up what is the population percentage of Africa. All right, Tron's USDD stablecoin. Speaking of stablecoins, this one fell to 97 cents as it loses its dollar peg. This is the Justin Sun-led Tron stablecoin. This launched in May 5th, and its market cap currently stands at a little under $1 billion at $708 million. Justin Sun said USDD would be over-collateralized by low volatility assets like USDC, USDT, and Bitcoin to avoid a repeat of UST's collapse. And UST, of course, famously paying out that 20% yield, but it's okay because they dropped it to 19% right there at the end, so you're safe. Crypto Slate checked the Etherscan address shared by Justin Sun and confirmed that roughly 200,000 TUSD has been deployed to rescue USDD so far. That makes me feel a little bit better, knowing that it fell to 97 cents and it was only 200K. TJ, obviously we're guessing, but what do you think 200K feels like to Justin Sun?
He doesn't feel it. Yeah.
Okay. I would agree. Yeah. I would agree. So if I would have read 200 million, I'd be a little bit more worried. When I see it's 200K and that's for 3 cents, that feels a little bit better. And if it is over collateralized, I feel like he would probably do it. I don't know what the percentage is of Bitcoin and other assets there, but there's people like definitely looking for the smoking gun there. So if it is over collateralized with USDT and USDC, that seems good. But I just don't interact with Tron. A lot of people love it because it's speed though.
Side note: as of December 10th, 2022, approximately 1.4 billion in Africa, equivalent to 16.7% of total world. So almost 17% of total world population.
Okay, that's a lot of people. Egypt is also, they just made moves to work with the Crinks cooperative as well. So there's a lot of African nations, Nigeria and Egypt. They don't like the US dollar. And so that is not good, but that's not something that they're going to report to you. So you're going to have to maybe do your own research there. All right. Binance's proof of reserves raises red flags. Report corporate structure, Bitcoin liabilities, and internal control quality are among the points of concerns. There's a huge article on Reuters. I read through it this morning, and then they were backtracking other links to previous articles that they written, going all the way back to 2018. And a lot of it is just all of this. I'm going to go ahead and kind of give my thesis, and we'll go through these articles. All of this is stemming from the same investigation that started in 2018. A lot of it, the main source of contention for the officials appears to be letting Iranian crypto exchanges make trades. And also, the post, I don't think it's as important to them, the post-Tornado Cash transactions. So there's a lot of FUD surrounding these older events. I know Tornado Cash is a little bit newer, but the Iranian exchanges, this is old news, and there have been some things that they have taken to eliminate some of the concerns. We'll see if these articles go over it. If not, I'll give you my insight here. Binance's efforts to improve transparency of its reserve also expose red flags in the exchange's finances, according to accounting and financial specialists consulted by the Wall Street Journal here. We found that 97% collateralized without taking into account the out-of-scope assets pledged by customers as collateral for the in-scope assets lent through the margin loan services. This is John Reed Stark, senior lecturing fellow at Duke University School of Law and former chief of the SEC, Office of Internet Enforcement, stated in a Twitter post, their proof of reserve report doesn't address effectiveness of internal financial controls, doesn't express an opinion or assurance conclusion, and doesn't vouch for the numbers. This is how he defines a red flag. Mazars disclosed its audit report on Binance's Bitcoin reserves on the 7th of this month. According to the International Audit Company, they control over 500,000 Bitcoin belonging to its customers, worth roughly $9.7 billion at the time of the report. Per the methodology, they are 101% collateralized, said the company here. Let's move on. I know there's another article. This is the Reuters article. We'll see what we have highlighted. Hold on. I'm trying to zoom in. I don't know how to work this thing with my broken hand. U.S. Justice Department is split over charging Binance as crypto world falters, sources say. Let's see here. Split between U.S. DOJ prosecutors are delaying the conclusion of this long-running criminal investigation. I think this immediately links you to something from last year and to the world's largest crypto exchange, Binance. This is according to 4 unnamed people familiar with the matter. Let's see. We scroll down. A couple other things we have highlighted. This is from Binance spokesperson. We don't have any insight into the inner workings of the Department of Justice, nor would it be appropriate for us to comment if we did. The Justice Department declined to comment here. Reuters has investigated their financial crime compliance over the course of 22. The reporting showed that they kept weak anti-money laundering controls, process over $10 billion in payments for criminals and companies seeking to evade U.S. sanctions, and plotted, this is an important part that I kind of skipped over, plotted to evade regulators in the United States and elsewhere here. Prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Seattle began investigating Binance in, like I said, 2018, following a wave of cases that saw criminals use Binance to move illicit funds. This is mostly relating to the Iranian exchanges there. In December of 20, 2 MLARS attorneys and a Seattle prosecutor sent the Department of Justice request for documents to Binance, addressed to Gonzalez. The letter sought any records containing instructions. This is, again, kind of what I was saying earlier. Documents be destroyed, altered, or removed from Binance's files, or that information should not be committed to writing. They're looking for, did CZ say we need to be secretive? I guess that is probably pretty bad in their book. So they're looking for, hey, did he tell you to hide information? Did he tell you to delete messages? That's obviously a red flag that they're looking for here. But even after Binance required, then they also were mad about how easy it was to get an exchange account. You just needed an email account up to the middle of last year. But even after they required you submit identification, gaps remained in its compliance program. For example, between then and this November, they processed over $1 billion in trades for Iranian crypto firms, putting the company at risk of violating their U.S. sanctions. Now, they are doing a lot of steps to, okay, here's some of it right here. They have hired the former chief of MLARS, that's the Department of Justice arm, Kendall Day, a partner at Gibson Dunn, to engage in discussions with the Justice Department. Day met with justice officials in Washington over the past recent months. 3 of the people said officials discussed Day a possible resolution to the case out of court, whereby suspects would potentially plead guilty or pay a fine, the 3 sources said. That isn't all that they've done. And you can see here, MLARS, this is an arm within the Justice Department. They have a reputation for moving slowly, but they appointed a new chief. Binance has hired the former head prosecutor, I think, of Justice Department. So they have a former head of regulation or I have to look at his exact title. They also hired 5 senior IRS executives. It appears that they took some of the same plays from the FTX playbook. Maybe not so much the bribing, New York Times, Vox, Vanity Fair, maybe not trying to buy articles, but they're hiring these former officials heavily. Now, I'm not saying that gives them immunity. I'm definitely not saying that at all. If anything, you know, they just might know that it's something bad's going to happen sooner, if anything. But they do have a strategy, and it seems like their strategy is throw money at it and hire all the former officials. Will it work? I don't know. It seems to be similar strategy employed by XRP. We're still kind of waiting for that to work its way through the courts. So What are your thoughts on their strategy of the ex-official from the Department of Justice and all these IRS executives?
I think Binance is doing a fine job trying to, navigate all these regulatory landscapes. I think a lot of this is, I don't want to necessarily call it a witch hunt. I'm not saying everything is up and up, but like, they're looking at, basically the reason they're looking into Binance is because they're not applying strict enough KYC ALM laws, basically not giving the government as much information as they want, not really basically bending over for the United States government, which to me, that's something I appreciate in an exchange. It's something that's pushing the thing forward.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, because we see he's damned if you do, damned if he doesn't situation here, where it's, oh my God, he's not complying. He's clearly insolvent. This is a scam. Or, oh my God, he is complying. He's selling our data to NSA.
Right. Well, basically what the U.S. government is saying is like, oh, there's too many transactions happening here that we don't have full information of, or we don't like the transactions with some of these individuals. Where with FTX, it's completely different, where there was a clear crime that happened. Somebody used customer funds. They're not looking at Binance for committing actual crimes. They're just saying, we wished you were being more strict with KYC ALM because, we don't like some of the people that you're allowing to use your product. And I think, to me, it's frustrating to see them applying this much force on Binance and completely ignoring FTX right now, but at the same time, not really that surprising. It's something we've talked about a lot, where Coinbase, Kraken, a lot of these exchanges that are trying to do things right have had to do so much for the government in compliance, and then
continuously pivot. Oh, we're zigging. Okay, we zag.
Right.
Oh wait, we zigging. Wait, tell me what to do here.
Meanwhile, FTX, clear fraud, clear Ponzi, and I think they will bring some force with this, but it's been a little too slow for all of our opinions. But that being said, this Binance thing's been going on since 2018. I think the fact that it's coming up and it's mainstream news right now has a lot more to do with misdirection from FTX than it does.
I found the official title. I do want to just, so we're not saying anything incorrectly. Until 2020, they, operate on bare bones. But after that, that's when they switched strategies here. They hired this guy, external lawyer from Paul Weiss, Roberto Gonzalez, previously the Treasury Department's Deputy General Counsel. And then they had the hiring blitz of 5, and it says right here, recruitment blitz, at least 5 ex-officials from the IRS Criminal Investigations Cybercrime Unit. So that's the specifics of the officials that they hired. So seems like pretty well-connected individuals. Kind of lead. It's not a great thing. It kind of makes me think of the swamp. They say, oh, there's a swamp, they need to drain it. This kind of is the swamp. He's hiring the swamp. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I think it's a little bit of all. I don't think you just say it's not a black or white issue.
If you want to survive in the swamp, you're going to need some swamp people. So I like the strategy.
Yeah, I don't like wearing gator boots, but sometimes gator don't play.
Yeah.
All right. Sam Bankman-Fried's Alameda Research. He was in a Spaces right before this. Research secretly funded crypto media site The Block and its CEO. I saw all this. Let me just share this. He confirmed that he's going to call in tomorrow.
Yep.
That's what Sam Bankman said this morning. He's going to call in this morning. He will not appear in person. All right. Scrolling down here, crypto media site The Block secretly funded over the last 2 years by Alameda Research. Michael McCaffrey is the CEO and immediately resigned after the loans came to light, and will also step down from the board. He received 3 loans for a total of $43 million from 21 throughout until the end of this year. First loan, $12 million to buy out other investors. Second, $15 million day-to-day operations. Third, $16 million, and then he went on I don't know if it was personal purchasing spree, but he went on a little real estate spree in the Bahamas there.
Yeah,
what is up with this Bahamas land, man?
Yeah.
Everyone, clearly that was the move. Do you think they're flipping real estate? Were they trying to make it the new crypto mecca? Were they like, oh my God, this is, we're going to double our money in 5 years? Or do they just want baller pads?
I think there's definitely something going on in the Bahamas down there, and it's a safe place to park money that's hard to get to. He did use this for personal. It wasn't his personal name. It fits the MO that we've seen from Alameda, where you're taking loans to buy personal property. It's basically it's very hard to get it back once it's owned by him individually, unless there's a bankruptcy or something like that. So it's pretty disgusting to me, to be honest. The Block is a publication that's supposed to be independent, does really good crypto investigation, somebody we've used a lot. Sad to see it happen. It was basically this guy led a raise to get previous VCs out and let it be owned by the employees who were doing all the work. And then the employees now come to find out that their leader that was supposedly leading them out and away from VCs, brought him right back into the lion's den. And it's pretty sad to me, to be honest.
Yeah, and it says here, you know, speaking of the equity, he had a majority stake in the company as part of its restructuring, and then the block is hoping to buy out the CEO stake there. So they're trying to clean up ship. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I don't know the inner workings right now, so we'll see, because also broke late Friday, so we're gonna need you know, some weekdays of we'll see what kind of things get filed and what kind of offices and what kind of entities get released here.
I will say this is not a complete surprise. We did know that Alameda had, you know, overfunded a lot of media publications, different influence, whether it was FTX or Alameda directly trying to, you know, win positive favor when it came from a media perspective, whether it's New York Times, you know, different crypto channels, you know, or things like the Block, you know, who knows about Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, etc. So
yeah, and you know, speaking of all that stuff, I think he's also funding the stuff with his brother, SBF's brother, and a lot of that money, and then kind of, you know, praising that and fitting into this narrative. Did you see? This is a little off track. Did you see Elon's tweet?
I did. I saw several tweets this week, and I don't know which one.
Yeah, the one my pronouns are.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw that.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. But then you see the criticism. It's like any kind of joke or criticism is a call for violence, and that's so ridiculous. Okay, that's if you say that type of thing over words. Yeah, sure, there are some calls for violence. Hey, meet me here, and we're gonna do this terrible thing. But you know, calling someone a bozo or saying, you know, a little pun with that, I don't think that's a call for violence. No. Call me crazy. You know, maybe I just want to kind of share my opinion, because that doesn't seem to be what normal people are thinking, apparently, according to social media. But we know how normal people think.
I was gonna say, if you're that sensitive, just stay off the internet.
Yeah. It's called "Put the Phone Down." Yeah. You know, like it's that I can't say it, but it's that famous Tyler the Creator tweet. It's like, how's cyberbullying a thing? Like,
put it down.
Look away from the screen, and it's like 37 laughing emojis. All right, they're bullying me. Let me type on here. Okay. Anyways, Alameda former CEO Caroline Ellison hires SEC ex-top regulator as her attorney for the FTX investigation. SEC's ex-top regulator. Gotta love it here. Speaking of the swamp, she will need all the help she get from none other than a highly decorated former regulator of the U.S. SEC when she's faces grilling by the federal prosecutors over the crash of FTX and over Alameda using FTX's customers' money against their will. Let's call it what it was. In her capacity as director of the SEC Enforcement Division, she managed a staff that worked on a number of high-profile prosecutions against prominent organizations and renowned individuals.
She was there through 2022, so just this year she quit. That's crazy.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, if it's January, yeah, maybe nothing burger there. If it was last month, that looks a little bit more shady, I would say. Prosecutors have also initiated inquiry into whether SBF was responsible for the demise of the Terra ecosystem. They are investigating whether SBF's empire generated a deluge of sell orders on Terra's stablecoin, Terra USD Classic, on purpose. New York Times reported that the majority of USTC sell orders originated from Alameda Research there. That sounds like me. I don't know if that was so much malice rather than, holy crap, we're overexposed. It's 97 cents. It's 91 cents. Sell. I don't know if they're trying to take, I don't know. Well, maybe if we look at what initiated, I know there's a lot with that. Do Kwon did that thing a month before, though. And so that's why I'm like, do we blame Alameda? Did you see what Do Kwon pulled out that previous month? Put out like hundreds of millions of dollars. I have to check the exact numbers, but to me, that kind of was like that first domino. And then so to say that's a giant domino, big domino, I don't know. The whole domino thing is a little funny. We're seeing that with FTX.
Do you think she'll show up at the financial committee hearing, Caroline? I mean, we already know Sam's supposed to testify via Zoom or remote, like he's not going to be in the States. You think Caroline
will? I saw the rumors that she was like in and out of, was it FBI offices or Department of Justice?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Offices?
I know she was spotted in New York. Most, a lot of theories that she's cutting a deal of some kind. I'm just curious. Do you think she'll show up or do some kind of testimony in the next couple of weeks?
I think she will, because I think she's definitely working with them as we speak, because she's walking around free. And I think her being not as known as SBF just won't shut up. I'm sure there's some people who are probably upset about that. They might give her the sweetheart deal if you're like, hey, just roll over on your former lover there, and we'll cut you a break here.
Well, and let's not, like, the true crime is FTX using customer funds. Alameda really, now they took it, and once they take it, it becomes theirs, and they can lose it, and that's not necessarily a crime. The real crime was the transfer from FTX funds over to Alameda. So I think she's got from a legal perspective, she's in much better position, I think, than SBF.
And if I had to guess, of those two individuals, Sam and Caroline, which of the two was in more over their head? I would say it was Caroline, and I'm only judging that from her interviews, where she's like, I didn't have really any trading experience, and I didn't even use my math degree, and maybe I shouldn't tell about my biggest failed trade. It's just like, I can see all of a sudden being thrust into the CEO role, and your former boss, lover, money guy is like saying, hey, we're going to use these funds, and that's how it is. Now you're the CEO. It's kind of a tough situation to be in when, if you don't know, you're breaking the law. I'm not saying she didn't know whether or not she was breaking the law. Probably knew she was breaking the law, but then that's just me.
It's going to make a great movie, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I do want to say this about the domino theory here. It's going to be hard to tell, like, what's the first domino at Terra Luna? Just same thing, like, what's the first domino with FTX? I know with BitSquad, we did a lot of work with this bill in the background, and then that bill being exposed led to a lot of these huge dominoes. But, just by saying, hey, we kind of initiated this, doesn't mean we want to take away from that good reporting CoinDesk did, exposing their balance sheet. That was a huge, huge thing. And CZ's tweets, huge domino. But you've seen dominoes fall. You got them big ones. How did that thing start? Some random butterfly flapping its wings across the world. That's Ben. All right. SBF, unfazed over jail time, plans to run new business here. Wants to start a new business to make things right. He's unfazed about that jail time. He still denies committing that fraud. SBF has been on a media spree recently. According to the BBC, he said he was going to try to start a new business from a luxury apartment in the Bahamas. Oh, it must be so nice. I'm sitting here, people trying to do Pinterest to pay their light bill.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm just going to hang out in my luxury apartment. I'll raise some more billions. Kevin O'Leary's got my back.
Yeah.
All right. When asked about potential jail time, SBF admitted to ruminating at night over it, though appeared generally unfazed here. BBC also spoke to a former FTX employee who accused SBF about, shocker, lying about knowledge of Alameda's usage of funds. Free denied the accusation, but admitted ultimate responsibility for any mishandling of the funds as CEO. Hey, man, I didn't know. Okay. I was in over my head. I didn't know. He knew. SBF has been called upon to testify at 2 Senate hearings this week. As I said, breaking from DZ, he confirmed that he's going to call in. He's not going to show up. So he's, as of an hour ago, he said he's going to be there, and he's going to be square. Scream, because he's calling in. All right. Yuga Labs, MoonPay faces lawsuit over celebrities NFT promotion of Bored Apes. Luckily, I'm not big enough. I'm not hanging out with Jimmy Fallon, Bieber, Madonna, and Snoop Dogg, and Paris Hilton. And I told him to buy it when it was lower, to be fair. I didn't say buy the top. I said buy it at 3-point-something ETH. I said go buy a mutant. It would have been all right. You should have sold, not listen to me. Over 40 people and companies are named as defendants. Let's see. Let's just go through the names. Paris Hilton, Snoop, Jimmy Fallon, Bieber, Madonna, Serena Williams, Post Malone, and Diplo. It's a class action lawsuit coming out of Shocker, California, and claims crypto companies used its Hollywood network to promote the NFTs without complying with disclosure requirements. I kind of thought they did with all those MoonPay tweets. Like, hey, Madonna, she's like, hey, thanks MoonPay for her, facilitating this. I guess maybe they didn't explicitly say it enough.
Because MoonPay, basically what it was a service that was helping these people, like, so they didn't have to go buy it. Is that
so they didn't have to have a MetaMask full of a bunch of ETH. And then, they kind of set up the wallet for them. They buy it for them. A lot of it was done through CAA, which is a huge talent agency. I think the largest talent agency out of Hollywood. If you look, I think they're all like covered by like the same 2 or 3 agents. So maybe not everyone on that list, but a lot of it was CAA. So I think that's kind of the angle that they're using here. Is like it's coordinated pump, but I don't know if it was. They're not selling it. They're trying to up their brand.
I think this is just a frivolous class action, in my opinion. They're trying to get some money out of people that'll probably just settle to make it go away. To me, if you were going to go for a lawsuit like this, if anybody, why is CAA not named? They're the ones that's coordinating it all and making it happen and presenting it to their clients and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I think this is kind of silly. And
yeah,
stupid.
and for our viewers outside of America, in America, you could just sue anybody for anything. Yeah. I could sue Frank. He popped out of the desk. It hurt my heart, and now I need a mental stress, and I need a recoup. So Frank, I'm gonna sue you. That's America for you. All right. I'm gonna sue you for the secret to those calves. Analyzing the state of the NFT market through the lens of Gary Vaynerchuk. We love Gary V around here. TJ, when's the last time you told people about the shoes? Fun fact.
It's been a long time. Ben loves to talk about those shoes more than I do.
Yeah. Fun fact. TJ has Gary V's shoes.
I do.
A
signed pair of Gary V shoes.
Signed pair. He was like, "Why are you taking my shoes off me?" All right. Prominent investor Gary Vaynerchuk, who shot to fame following his immense support of NFTs. I would say following his immense support of garage sales.
I was going to say, he was famous before NFTs.
Yeah, shared his thoughts on the NFT market on 11th of December. According to him, the NFT sector is going through a downturn with falling prices and declining popularity. Yeah, he's been very clear. 99% are going to go to zero. According to a blog post published on his website, he attributed the NFTs market predicament to 3 core issues: oversupply, short-term greed, inferior operators. That is a great thesis statement there. I would agree with that 100%. Oversupply, way too many NFTs out there. Short-term greed, too many people. I'm guilty of it on occasion, but usually not. Too many people don't buy because they like NFTs, they like collectability. Too many people buy 100% with the purpose to sell. And that's okay, but don't be into it a little bit, like at least have some NFTs that you want long-term holds. If you can't look at any NFT and think that's a long-term hold for me, you probably shouldn't be in it. Go trade foreign exchange markets. Like that's a better avenue for you. This is way too risky. And if you're not eating, sleeping, and breathing NFTs, you're going to fail and you're going to lose all your money. And then the third and final, inferior operators. There is a lot of that. I do know JPEG junkies. Me and Justin, we try to be smart enough to know that we're not smart. Pluto Alliance, we got this Forge coming out. I can't build it, but we lean on smart people, builders in the industry. We just made an awesome GitHub transmission or transaction submission on for Cardano. We're doing awesome things with this Forge, with the cruise. I'm going to be doing a video, me buying those tickets soon. So yeah, inferior operators. But for every DZ and Justin, there's 38 people who just like give up on something. And you look at their Twitter and they haven't tweeted in a year. Guess what? I'm sorry, that project's going to be dead. There's going to be some old 2018 NFTs that maybe come back that are dead projects. But if your guy abandoned it in 21, 22, it's probably going to be in the 99%, not that 1% that's going to thrive. The hard part is finding that 1%. All right, let's see. We got one more Yuga story than XRP. Rise of Polygon, Starbucks, Reddit, Meta, setting the stage for mainstream adoption. Polygon outperformed the other major cryptos following the FTX collapse. I would say a lot of it has to do with these awesome partnerships, and they're missing a major one, Disney. That is right. They have a Disney partnership as well. It's mostly about meme coins, NFTs, and layer 1 projects, but the L2 scaling solutions have created a buzz across the crypto ecosystem. Some are even considering L2s as the next step in the evolution of blockchains, a better approach to scaling, primarily on Ethereum. Let's see, layer 2 is the moniker given to all blockchain scaling solutions constructed on top of a L1, essentially. So Ethereum is your L1. You build on top of that, you're an L2. Polygon being the specific example here. Let's see, we have a nice little, it looks like a little partnership here. So yeah, Matic these are the L2s. Yeah, there's a lot of L2s. Here we got some rollups. Here we have the Plasma. Here we have state channels, side chains, hybrid solutions, Validium. As mind your biz, I'm not going to say anything about that because a good chance I'm going to say something incorrectly. But yeah, there's different L2s on top of this L1, depending on what you need. Do you need a bunch of quick transactions for a video game that don't cost a lot? Do you want something a little more secure, more decentralized that might cost a little bit more? There's going to be different solutions. So it's pick your flavor there when it comes to your L2s. All right, Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. Ripple Army, where you at? Hit that like button. What does it cost them, TJ?
Nothing.
Costs you nothing. So go ahead and do it. All right, Ripple versus SEC lawsuit could be settled soon, says Charles Hoskinson. Yeah, he did I think it's 2 hours and 11 minutes. I was watching some of it. Ripple has been fighting a legal battle with the SEC since 2020 to prove that XRP should not be classified as a security. Fun fact, It's not classified as a security in, I think, 37 countries at this point. But in an Ask Me Anything session, Charles Hoskinson said that the Ripple case would be settled by the 15th. Okay, so he's saying that deadline is going to be it's over. Wow. It's currently trading at 37 cents. What do you think of that? Is he following it so closely, or does he have inside information there?
I don't know. The 15th, I mean, that's 3 days from, that's Thursday. So if they settle on the 15th, that'd be pretty.
When did I host the morning stream? Was it Thursday or Friday?
Last week?
Yeah. I think it was Friday, maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember.
We went over it, and there's a deadline for submission of something with the court case. So he's saying that is going to be over. Oh, wait, we found it. Rumors. All right, he said he've heard rumors that the Ripple case will be settled on the 15th, and that could have catastrophic implications for the industry one way or the other. But you just keep moving forward. Regardless of what happens, it's a decentralized ecosystem that you guys control. Okay, so
that's interesting.
Kind of a bombshell.
That is, and he says catastrophic implications, meaning he sounds like it could not settle in Ripple's favor, which that'd be shocking.
That would be shocking. All right, so hey, the rumors are flying. I don't know. The rumor mill in Wyoming is coming through, and they're saying, hey, maybe keep a big eye out. That is huge. That's just a couple days away. We've often said the timing of this XRP case could be kind of like that catalyst that leads us to that slow grind for that year or two. Let's see. We have time for a quick hit. We might as well do a Doge one. I know so many of you still love Doge. Over 350 Doge made millionaires. Not good news. They were wiped out as the meme coins struggled. In particular, the number stood at 685 on the 12th. And a breakdown indicates that 605 now, while 80 have at least 10 million. So 600 people got over a million. And then additional 80 have over 10 million in Doge there. So fun for the little Doge people out there, but failed to capitalize. Looks like the CEO Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter. A lot of people are hoping it would benefit from that. The deal led to speculations that it might be integrated, but that remains to be seen. I think we're gonna go ahead, wrap it up. It's been a great episode. I'll be hosting 5 p.m. tonight. Make sure you're gonna be there. Ben will be back tomorrow morning, so make sure you're tuned in. And once again, sub to the new channel Around the Blockchain, ATB Daily. We're going to be moving there January 2nd. You have to catch it there. So make sure you migrate on over. That's all we got, BitSquad. Till next time. Later, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all